What is the good word? We are live, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to crack the code. 5 steps for referral success or excellence, whatever we want to call this. But Tiffanie Kellog is joining me, and I think I'm not alone on this. We want to have more referrals for our business because once you get a referral, it's pretty easy to bring home a new deal. So, Tiffanie Kellog, just for those of you who don't know, it's my honor to introduce her. Since 2005, Tiffany has been helping entrepreneurs make more money, save time, and one that I really love, have more fun. So, whether she's delivering keynote presentations, training, speaking here locally and around the globe through mostly virtually, writing another book, or working with people in her more abundant entrepreneurs community. This is one of the topics we spoke about earlier. And Tiffany loves helping people create the life that they desire. In addition to helping people have epiphanies, which are epiphanies from Tiffany, that's easy for me to say, she is known for having fun, a charming Southern accent, and her signature socks, which, by the way, you have like 400 pairs of socks. Is this true?
I do. I have a lot of socks.
Oh my god! At least do you have as many pairs of shoes to go with the socks?
No, I don't. I have. So when I speak, I typically wear my fun colored socks, and I have about a dozen pair of Chucks, Converse, that I rotate with, depending on what dress I'm wearing, what socks I'm wearing. But so yeah, I've got about a dozen pair of sneakers that I wear.
All
Not
right.
nearly as many shoes.
Very fun. I'm very excited about this topic, Tiffany, because I come from a corporate world and I was just looking at all the books behind me in preparation for this. And I'm looking in the back in the index for the referral section. There's hardly anything in my sales books on referrals. So I think I missed the boat somewhere along my career that I should have been asking for referrals way more than I have. I think they kind of stumbled across me on occasion, but this is such a sadly needed topic, and I'm so grateful that you're here today. So, where do we begin on this thing? How can we get more referrals and improve the game here?
Well, I think if it's okay with you, I might share why referrals are really amazing, just to put us in the mindset. Because as you mentioned, we love referrals. We all
Yeah.
want more referrals. They're easier to close, all of that. And there's some statistics that go along with it that make referrals even cooler. So we
Okay.
all know we love referrals. They're easier to close, usually quicker. And what we found is referred clients stay with you on average 4 times longer than clients that came to you any other way. This does depend on your business. Realtors,
Mhm.
it doesn't work as well. But for those of us that have multiple products and services that people can do, referred clients typically spend 3 to 4 times more with you within their first year of working with you. And probably one of my favorites, referred clients are 2.5 times more likely to refer you than non-referred clients. So
Ah.
there is this aspect of they're cool, and there's so much more to them than that makes referrals really this important thing. And you're right, the business books, like I have a business degree, and I went back after I started teaching this to look at my business books because that's the kind of nerd that I am. I kept my textbooks. And yeah, there was like one paragraph in my
Yeah.
marketing book on referrals. One paragraph.
Yes. Well, which is funny because like all these books are the how to, and my own book talks about how to be better in sales. I don't know if I have the word referrals in there.
Gotcha.
So I need a revision. And I think a few of us are going to need a revision after today.
Well, and maybe we just partner. I send you a couple chapters for referrals, you send me a couple of chapters
I
for
like it.
the sales, and we can kind of play on it. And
Collaboration.
yeah, and I think it's one of those, as I talk to people, to me, when I think of referrals and sales, referrals is everything that happens prior to you getting in front of the prospect. Once you're in front of the prospect, that's sales. Now, our intention is if we can get more on this side in the referrals, then the sales goes quicker. You don't have to have as many skills because that person helped you. However, I think you do have to be good at both in order to create some success.
Yeah, that's oops. That's a great point because I have a dog that wants to bark, so I was just prepping. Oh, there we go.
Hi,
Um, but this is a great point because if you're getting the referrals and then not doing a great job on the selling side of things and making it all about yourself, then the referrals can come in and you just may not be maximizing the opportunities in front of one. So great point. So so I've been doing a little research and I came across all these different things. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what I have experienced.
Okay.
And you tell me if this is good or not. But I've seen people, and I can't do this. I am like the guilt-free salesperson or a sales coach. I want people to feel good about what they're doing. And when it feels gross, I just can't do it. Right?
Yeah.
Are you similar?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So here's one. Someone is selling, they're selling suits and clothing professionally. I won't mention the name of the company, but they basically come in, do a great job on the customer service, tell you what you need, and then they have your LinkedIn profile up with your connections and then ask for referrals with the connections. Like, who do you know? And it puts the person right on the spot to, I've got to do this because the person's now putting a lot of pressure on me and I can't run and hide. So I think, to me, I could never do that. What's wrong with me?
I think that part of what feels icky about it is two things mainly that are sticking out to me. Number one, where we're at in our relationship. Like sometimes people say, it never hurts to ask. And I vehemently disagree that sometimes it does hurt to ask.
Yeah.
We have to look at, when we think of referral marketing, which I happen to believe should be renamed relationship marketing.
Yeah.
It's about the relationship. And so if I've got the suit company that came in, we had some conversation. I don't have your product yet. I don't know that I'm going to love it yet. And so sometimes we call this premature solicitation. And premature is never really a good thing. I don't know.
It's not a good thing.
I'm trying to think of all the situations where you use premature. I can't remember a single one that's good.
Yes.
I know. I'm like,
agreed.
So if we're too early in the relationship, it taints it because we're not there yet. Because if we think about, instead of doing it when we haven't even gotten the product or service, what if we wait until we've received the product or service, your client does, and they love it and they're praising you? I think if we're at a point to where it's like, I love you, then you can ask for more. But until we get it, it's
Yeah.
And this whole force of like, you have to give me, it does taint it. And so the languaging that I like to use, and so we're just going to jump to step 5.
Okay.
So step 5 of this, y'all will just go out of order. Hopefully you can deal with it. If not, just tell AI to put them in order for you. We'll recap in order at the end.
Okay.
So step 5 in creating referral success for me is asking for referrals. And I'm a huge believer, if you ask for referrals the right way, you can't get a no. And so I think a lot of times people use this as like, I don't want to ask because I don't want to get at the no, and I don't want it to be awkward. And so instead of saying, do you know anyone that needs my product or service, we want to change the languaging to, I'm expanding my business and I could use your help. Who do you know who? And then you want to put in like a specific referral request. And so I'm sitting here thinking, and I don't know what company that you're talking about with the suits, which is fine. I don't wear suits more. However, like I'm sitting here thinking there's a woman that I know that does it. And one of her favorite clients is a power lifter because he has massive, massive legs, and you can't he can't buy off the rack clothes because he's a big guy. I don't mean massive, he's just muscular. And so I might be like, who do you know who is a power lifter? Because that would be an ideal person because they're going to have that specialty thing. Professional athletes a lot of times may need that different thing. And so I would think about, okay, who are the ideal clients? And so instead of, do you know anyone that needs my product or service? It's, who do you know who is a general contractor that drives a truck and wants to play more golf?
Oh my goodness. This is so good. So right now I'm getting, let's be first thing is you got to have the relationship, right? Which is you've got to be in a position where they love you, where you can make the ask. Number one thing I got is I'm expanding my business. I could use your help.
Yes.
Right. So let's just touch on that first, because I think that's amazing. It's simple, but that word help, people want to help, right? Is that where this is coming from?
Yeah, and I think that if I'm sitting you down and saying, pull up your LinkedIn, who of these people can you introduce me to? It's this, oh, but if I say, hey, can you help me? People are leaning in versus being scared away. And when we're able to create that, because you're right, most people want to help. And some of y'all out there aren't good at taking help. That's a whole different conversation for a whole different day. But most people want to help in some way, shape, or form. And so as you're asking them, will you help me by doing this versus I need you to refer me?
Yeah. And so we have to be a little bit vulnerable on this, right?
Yeah.
In a sense, because if we're too proud, we don't want others to think that our business could expand, we could be better, we could be making more money. So sometimes we want to give the perception that everything is just perfect, but a nice approach, be a little bit vulnerable, and people are willing to help. Any additional thought on that?
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, wildly successful companies are still trying to expand and be wildly successful. I always think, I was thinking the other day, because there's a Wendy's near me that closed and there's a Burger King near me that closed. Chick-fil-A is going gangbusters.
Right,
And
right.
they are expanding. And I don't think anybody looks at them trying to expand and create new locations as they're not doing well. Now, whether or not you like what they stand for is a whole different conversation. And they're making it work. And so, you know, it's really hard to get a franchise with them, and it's going well and they're expanding. And so sometimes we have to think, just because I'm wanting more doesn't mean that I don't have enough now.
Yeah. And I think you could even tie in, I'm just spitballing here, but you could tie in the community there, right? Chick-fil-A is really good with the community. They get involved. We could say, I'm expanding my business, trying to do more for the community, right? Something like that, if we feel a little bit weird about it. But, you know, I deal with all this psychotic thinking. So that's not important. But the other thing that you mentioned was remind me, right? So I got lost, but it was like, first thing is to help, but then it was being very specific in the ask, right?
Yes.
Okay,
And so
talk to me about the value
in the
there.
question, who do you know who? The way the human brain works in English, at least, who do you know who cannot be answered yes, no. If I say, do you know? Because here's the thing, the brain is tired. It's inundated with between 65 to 75,000 pieces of stimuli on a daily basis, of which we digest, or it lands 2,000 to 2,500 pieces. So there is a lot happening that doesn't land with us. And so anytime our brain can save its power for things that it thinks matters to it, it will. And so do you know? No, that's too much work. And do you know anyone that needs my product or service? Not only is that work, plus I have to figure out who needs your product or service. You can't tell me. Seriously?
Yeah.
When we switch it to who do you know who, the brain automatically has to start rifling through the Rolodex. That's like the visual I have. For those of you watching this that don't know what a Rolodex is, it was your phone on paper, like all the contacts. And it's looking for those specific, because if I said, who do you know who's a power lifter? And again, I'm just using that. There's like 4 people that I know. Now, maybe most of you don't know a lot of power lifters, but what if I said, who do you know who is into CrossFit? Who do you know who that loves yoga? Who do you know who that them walking and exercises is from the couch to the fridge and back? Like, we can give these specifics and people can resonate with those.
Yeah. I was just thinking how on the sales side of things, when we're so vague and say, these are the 73 things that we can do, and you just start listing, you lose people's attention, right? It's too much for the brain to handle. Then they're thinking about, what am I going to have for lunch, instead of listening to you. And so now you're being very specific, and it's a whole lot easier for people to focus. And it takes the, you know, the very busy picture of everybody I know, and narrows it down to, I know 2 weightlifters, or I know 2 truck drivers, or something along those lines. So that's great advice. What else? So we're at number 5. Where we going to work backwards to number 4? Do we start at 1? Where do we go from here?
We're gonna start at 1.
Okay.
So number 1, which actually goes pretty good with number 5. So number 1 is identify your ideal client. So sometimes people think I want this wide array of people, and we've already been talking about this a little. The more specific you can be, the more terrific the results. So I like to say be specific to be terrific. And for years before I was doing this, I owned a promotional products company, and anybody with a business, and got a little referral here and there. Then I was like, ooh, let me try and be specific. And so I was like, ooh, I want to work with the Furman dealership. So it's a car dealership on 54. And so instead of saying any business, I said, I want the Furman dealership on 54. And like for a month, that was what I was talking about to everybody. That was my referral request. I never, ever, ever got the Furman dealership on 54. However, in that month, when I asked for the car dealership, I got referred to 5 other car dealerships that I hadn't been referred to the years before. So I think it's really important for us to paint a picture of who is that ideal client.
All right. So you're asking for a specific car dealership. You never get in.
Never.
Okay. I'm starting to connect the dots here because I've heard people ask, hey, I'm trying to get in such and such a law firm. And it's like, what are the chances of someone here knowing this law firm? But you're basically educating your referral partners that, hey, I'm really good in legal, right?
Right. And if it's like, I can't get into ABC law firm, but I can get into DEF, is that okay? Yeah, baby.
Yeah. No, I don't want that one. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah. All right. So you're being specific in understanding your ideal client profile.
Yeah.
In the short version of that, because that's a whole nother long topic.
I need 3 hours for that one.
Yeah. Okay. But why would you say in a few sentences that's so important?
I think especially in the referral side of things, you're not the one that's going out and finding. You're asking others to go out and find. And so you want to make it really easy on them to be able to go through their brain, go through their LinkedIn profile connections, and say, who are these people and can I find them?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like you're asking someone to do a little bit of selling for you.
Right. Yeah. Right? And so we want to make it easy for them to say, these are the right people. These are who to bring it up to.
Yeah. Versus the same thing as before. Who do you know who?
Right.
Now it's like similar, and it's not everybody is a prospect or everybody. I can help everybody, which means to me, you can help nobody because it's not narrow enough. Yeah. Love it so far.
It's a counterintuitive thing, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's like somewhere. One of the things that are going through my mind is you try this for 90 days, and you just throw out. It's like I'm going to try the car thing for 90 days, or I'm going to try legal for 90 days, and see what comes back. If people now are starting to give me referrals based on my specific ask, now you have something to go on. Yeah, cool.
And
all right.
What's so important about this step 1 is it feeds into step 2, which is finding the right referral sources.
Okay. Talk to me.
Most people think, hey, my profession is X. What people should be my top referral sources? What professions? And it has very little to do with your profession. It has to do with whom you want to serve. So I was working with a gal that did Mary Kay. And you would think, okay, who would be a good fit? Well, her ideal client are the 50-plus-year-old women who treat their dogs as if they're part of the family. And so her best referral sources were things like professions like the pet groomer and the pooper scooper people that come and do it, the supplies, the boutique owners. And so for her, it was like this unique group. Now I've got a client that's a massage therapist, and you could think, okay, what would it be that would fit? But for him, it's the gym owners because he wants the athletes, the ones that are looking to get better. It's the CrossFit people. Whereas I know another massage therapist, the one that's close to me that I like to see, for her, it's dentists and orthodontists because you want to get this taken care of before you get the braces on. And so it has very little to do with your profession when picking the right referral sources and very much to do with whom you're selling to.
So we need to flip this for a lot of us. because
Yeah.
I have been encouraging people. Oh my goodness. I apologize for anyone I didn't think of this, but so I normally would go into a business environment and say, who else is calling on businesses like you are? And say maybe you pair up with those people and so forth, which
No. I think that's great.
Okay.
If you're going into the office of your ideal client and saying who else is selling to you, that's 100% brilliant. Yeah.
Right.
No. We're good.
All right.
You're just going around it. We're going to the same place, just getting there slightly different ways. Yes.
Yeah.
If you can go to your ideal client and say who else is selling to you, then they're going to tell you what that is. If you don't have your ideal client yet, then once we know, okay, I'm looking to work with general contractors who drive trucks and want to play more golf, then you can kind of like figure out, okay, who would be selling to this. But if you know those GCs and you can ask them who's selling to you, I love it.
Okay. All right. Good deal. Got something right. Kind of sort of right anyway. Okay, Tiffanie, that's so we've got knowing our ideal client. Was that number 2 that we just did? Or
client number 1, referral sources number 2.
Okay, so now what? What's next?
3 and 4 could go in either order. It's kind of like a flip side of a coin. You need to have both in order to create success. So we've got educate and motivate. And so if we start off with educating our referral sources, we're teaching them, here's what we do, to whom we do it for. Like I actually have a referral partner training manual that I give to my best referral sources. Not people that I've met once or twice and chat with, but the people that I've really developed these relationships with. And if it's got my ideal client, how to start a conversation, how to overcome objections, how to set up the appointment, like anything that they need to know, I've got it there. And so I have to teach my network about my business. Now, if it's the right referral relationship, we have the same kind of clients, referrals are flowing back. We really only need 4, 6, or 8 of this level professional. So it doesn't have to be hundreds, but they're going to know a lot about our business and vice versa.
So when you say 4, 6, or 8, are you talking about referral partners here?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are going to be our top tier. These are going to be our partners, our strategic alliances, sometimes even. And these are the ones. It's not about let me meet hundreds and thousands of people. It's the handful of folks that are in the right profession with the right clientele that you can refer all day, every day.
Okay. So let's get some examples out here because this is the way I think. But like say I'm new to I've started up my business. I am a consultant. Let's just say I'm a leadership consultant. There's a few of those out there. They join the chamber or they join BNI and they go in and they say, now what? I've joined. Now what?
All right. So what I would do is I would take a look at the membership roster and there's the your way and then we'll ask for help way. I would take a look at the membership roster and I would look and see which professions I think would have the same kind of clientele as I. Mm-hmm. And then I would be like, let's get together for coffee or Zoom or a brew of some sort, whatever it may be. Like, let's get together. I'm going to learn a little bit about you. You learn a little bit about me. In this first meeting, kind of like a first date, we're just seeing how it's going. One thing I always want to make sure that I include in this first meeting is me sharing my why, what drives me, what gives me this passion, and hearing that from the other person. And if you're an appropriate profession where you can share success stories, I know there's a few out there that you have to be careful with HIPAA and board violation. Yeah. I also like to share a success story or 2 if I'm allowed to in that first meeting. We're just kind of seeing how we connect together.
Yeah. So it's like the first date really comes out to me. It's like we can't be overly eager in asking. So I call this premature referral asking because you cannot get a referral if you don't have a great relationship. And here's a thing that I've done, maybe others have done it, is they go to a network group, they meet some nice people, someone says this is what they do, and let's say they build decks, and you know someone that needs a new deck built. You connect the two. The person that needed the deck built calls you and complains this person doesn't show up on time, they never answer their phone, and you gave the referral in good faith, thinking they were like you, right? So the premature referral asking is not a good thing because we don't know. It's like date number one. We don't know what the person's follow-up is going to be. And that is fundamental to us. What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think we have to build the know, like, and trust, because when we refer someone, we are lending our credibility. And it's much easier to build it than it is to repair it. And so I think we have to feel comfortable, especially and I joke, if you need a referral to a professional sandcastle builder, I've met one in all of my years of networking. Not a lot of them. And so if somebody said, Tiffanie, do you know a professional sandcastle builder? I'd be like, look, I know this one, but I only met him once 10 years ago at a networking event. Whereas if somebody said, hey, do you know a realtor? I know probably hundreds of realtors, and I don't think I'm exaggerating. I work with realtors all the time because they need this. And, it's harder because there's more of them out there. And so I think we have to realize, just like we're not usually going to get married on a first date, unless you're in Vegas, whatever, you're probably not going to get referrals on that first meeting. And you probably shouldn't ask, because then you're going to be seen kind of as this pushy and
yeah, exactly. It's so this takes time. And I think it's different for everybody. But so the thing that I hear fairly frequently is I joined this network group. It was cliquey. I never got any referrals, so I left. Or I was in the chamber, I didn't like chamber. I never got any referrals, so I left. But if we look in the mirror and say, are we showing up consistently? Right? Are we having conversations? Are we giving referrals? Are we finding out what others do? Or are we just going in saying, hey, I'm amazing. Send your referrals my way. I have the one seat. So the referrals got to come to me without thinking, hey, maybe they know someone else that does what you do.
Yeah, we've got to take the time to build up that relationship. So there's that trust factor going on. And there's certainly things that can help minimize it. However, for most people, from know, like, and trust, probably minimum of 6 months or so at the low end of the scale. At the high end of the scale, it could be, there's a gentleman that I know, a financial advisor, who was involved in BNI, and he didn't get anything his first 18 months. I had one or two little inside referrals. Now, there's a reason why 18 years later, he's still a member, but it took him that 18 months. I know a gal that was very active in the chamber her first 10 months of the membership. And then she's like, I'm not going to renew because I'm not getting anything. The next 2 months, she went from getting 2 referrals a month to 2 referrals a week, because it was finally paying off. It's like this exponential build. It's not I work today and I get paid today. It's I work on my relationships today, and the payoff's going to come down the road.
Yeah, so good. And everybody is different. I mean, it has to do with your average ticket sale as well.
Tangible, intangible, risk.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the whole thing, I think, is, from what I'm gathering in here, is that this is a lot. I mean, referrals ties in with the R word, relationship, very well, right? Understanding what kind of relationship do I have, and can I work with this person? And we've got some back and forth. And instead of just, I need more referrals, I'm just trying to get referrals. That's why I'm here. I'm trying to get referrals. If you go in with a giver's mindset, look at your referral partners as, I am going to refer business to them and ask them what they need, I'm thinking there might be some reciprocity.
Relationships last only as long as they're mutually beneficial to both parties. And I talk to people sometimes and they're like, yeah, I want referrals. How much of your business do you want my referrals? 50%. Great. What's your plan to give referrals and go now? I'm too busy for that. I want 6-pack abs, but if I ain't going to the gym or working out, it's not going to happen. And so to me, I am investing my time, energy, and effort in my referral partner in the situation of hoping and creating that mutually beneficial relationship where they're doing the same. Now, sometimes you have great partners that become not so great, or they retire, they go away. Sometimes you start and it's kind of like the princess kissing the frogs to see where the prince is. You're not always going to get great people. Sometimes we try and it's like, it could be so great and it just isn't. And we have to move on and find somebody else.
Yeah. And what about when you get a referral that isn't great from
Whew.
somebody? What do you say? Do you thank them? Do you say, well, that one's a real loser? Or how do you handle something like that?
What I do, this is like a Twitter version answer to a 20-minute conversation, but I'll give you the shortened version. So if somebody gives me a referral that's not really great, hey, here's a name of somebody that might call you. Oh my gosh, Harry, thank you so much. I really appreciate this referral. Now, I want to make sure I take care of the best. I take care of your friend the best way possible. What I've actually found is if you could call her back and get her on my schedule, that's going to help me close it. That's going to make it the best process. And so I'm asking them again for their help to set it up, whether it's I want to schedule an appointment or get permission to call. That way you're putting a little bit of work on them. One of two things will happen. One, oh yeah, I'm happy to make that happen. And what you've done is you've probably just heated up a referral to make it more likely to close. If they're like, oh no, I can't do that. Harry, I'm going to leave this referral with you because I don't want to impact your relationship. And I found that, at this point, probably it's not going to happen. And I don't want to impact what you've got going on. So if you're able to get that appointment set up, please, again, let me know. If not, we won't worry about it.
Wow. Okay. Gutsy. I love the gutsiness.
Well, yes. And I'm very protective of my time.
Yeah.
I only have 168 hours a week, just like everybody else. And I want to make sure I'm doing it for the things that I want to be doing and not chasing referrals that would have never closed.
Yeah,
again,
exactly.
That's the Twitter version of a much larger conversation.
Right.
But that gives you at least the oomph of it.
Yeah. And I love it because in the sense that it's like, let's differentiate what a referral is versus here is a cold lead.
Right. Yes, definitely.
Right. I'm not really, I mean, cold leads are great, but you just gave me the name off of a van that you saw drive by. It's not.
And there's value to that, but it's not as good as here's the appointment scheduled.
Yes. Good stuff. All right. So we're towards the end here. Can we run down the Fab Five here and get any final thoughts that you might have?
All right. So, and I know some of you are like, she hasn't talked about 4. I'll give you 4 in just a second.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to find, number 1, find the ideal client. Number 2, find the right referral sources. 3 is educate. Now, we have to make sure 4 is done as well, and that's motivate, the flip side of the coin. So we can motivate them by giving them referrals, booking them speaking engagements. We could create some referral incentives and referral rewards. We could do things like invite them to be a part of an event, or maybe we sponsor their event. And so I think it's important for us to motivate our network by doing things that will excite them, inspire them to want to do more for us. And then when we do all 1 through 4, it makes it very easy for us to ask for the referral with, I'm expanding my business and I need your help. Who do you know who?
Oh my goodness. I love number 5.
Yeah.
Number 5 is, they're all awesome. But number 4, I just want to touch on really quickly is that when you're kind of offering some kind of incentive, right? I mean, some feel weird about this. And I've seen others say, I'll pay you for an appointment. I don't know if that ever works. I've never seen it work, or but maybe it works somewhere. But just a simple gift card after someone gives you a nice referral, or thinking of them, or even better, giving them a referral back can go so far in this.
I've got like a list of 50 some different ways to motivate your network. There are tons and tons of opportunities out there.
All right. So what we need to do, Tiffanie, is have our audience find more of you. So how can they do that?
So I am at Tiffanie Kellog on the majority of social media platforms. So super easy if you just want to go at Tiffanie Kellog. I'm on TikTok, but not really. I am also very active on Facebook and LinkedIn and occasionally on Instagram. Now, I do have, if you go to bit.ly/whyain't, bit.ly/whyain't, I do have there these 5 things in a little ebook format, as well as you can get weekly emails for 5 weeks on these 5 steps. So it gives you some extra stuff to go along with this. And I just sent you the link, Harry, in case you want to put it up on the side.
I do.
Yeah.
Guess what?
I figured you
I
might.
did
So
it.
I'm like, let me send it
I was
over.
trying to type it based on what it sounded like, and I was wrong.
Yeah. So, and that's why, because one of the things that's great about Restream is he can just cut that and put that over and pop it up on the screen in just a moment.
Nice.
But so, yes, you can go to @Tiffanie Kellog. You can be a part. I do have a Facebook group. It's called More Abundant Entrepreneurs. And so we hang out in there and have some fun. And I'm online. Pretty easy to find. And TiffanyKellogg.com.
Awesome. And so we've got the bit.ly why ain't thank you that is in the comments, wherever I put that is there. There will be a follow-up message. I'm sure our team will put this all together, summarize the 5. This has been fabulous. Tiffanie, thank you so much for spending 30 or 40 minutes with us. Super valuable, helpful information that can help us to make more money and be successful entrepreneurs. That's what we want, and have fun.
Yeah.
All right. You're the best.
And the
Thank
Facebook
you.
name again, because somebody just asked, is More Abundant Entrepreneurs with Tiffanie Kellogg.
All right. Say, do you want?
I was gonna say I can put the
put it in. Put it in.
I just put it. So if it's Facebook, and Harry can put it up. Facebook.com/groups/more with Tiffanie.
Yeah, we definitely want more with Tiffanie, and we'll see more of Tiffanie. I'm just putting that in there. All right. We are done here, but it's been a blast. Super helpful, Tiffanie. Go buy some socks. You need more.